Hey lovelies, you are welcome back again to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I drafted this beautiful blazer or jacket. Kindly watch till the end and don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Also turn on your post notification bell. Let's dive into the video. I'll be making use of my scissors, tape, markers, ruler and my pattern paper. I just marked half an inch that way and that will serve as a guide. So I will call that my shoulder line. I'll be marking my bust line, my under bust, my half length or waist one, then my waist two, then the full length of the jacket. So the full length of the jacket is totally dependent on you. You may make it shorter than this. So this is me also extending the marks so that I can have straight horizontal lines. I have a detailed video on how to take your body measurements. I'll be leaving the link to that video in the description box. When I was done drawing the lines, I just labeled them accordingly. I marked 1 inch below the shoulder line and that will serve as the shoulder slope. And from that point, I came down by 8 inches and that will serve as my armhole line. So this is me just extending it so I can get a straight horizontal line. I'll be calling that my chest line. That's the CL there. I'll be using a neck width of about 3 inches, which I've just marked. And my shoulder measurement is 16 inches divided by 2, and that's 8 inches. So I've just marked 8 inches. Now the shoulder slope is 1 inch. I'm just going to be connecting that to the neck width. And that's it. From that point, I'll just be drawing a straight line down. So that's my armhole line. So this is basically just drafting a basic bodice. I'll be transferring my horizontal measurement and that's achieved by dividing the round measurement by 4. So now I just divided my round bust measurement by 4. I'll be marking it on that chest line and the bust line as well. The same goes for the under bust, the half length, the waist and the full length. So just divide everything by 4. Coming to the nipple to nipple measurement or the butt span measurement, my nipple to nipple measurement is 8 inches divided by 2 and that is also 4. So I'm just going to be marking 4 all the way down like that. This is me connecting all the points. To get the dart for the front panel, you just come down by 1 inch on the bust line. Then on the waistline, you take half an inch on both sides, just like that. Then you just connect it to the waist. This is also me adding the seam allowance, and also take note of those bust darts. You replace every dart you've taken out so your cloth doesn't become short. I'm connecting all the points now and you can see it's giving a very nice shape. I use different colors of marker. The red one shows the actual measurement and the black is for the seam allowance. Coming to the armhole, I'll be dividing that line by 2 and that's 4 inches. And I'll be coming in by half an inch because it's the front armhole. It's usually different from the back armhole. So watch me, I'll just be connecting all the points together like that. Okay, then for the neck depth, I'll be coming down by 3 inches. 3.5 is not so bad. So now I'll be creating that curve. We are done with the front panel and here is me cutting it out. I will need to label it again because I will be transferring this exact measurement on the back panel. So this is me just writing everything out again. For the back panel, I'll also be drawing my shoulder line. That was exactly how I started the front panel. And that folding is for the zipper allowance, is about 2 inches. But 1.5 inches will also work fine. This is me just placing the front panel and extending all the lines. You see why I had to rename everything again. So by doing it this way, you don't need to start measuring. So you just like redraw the lines. Okay? Here I just reconfirmed the full length of my armhole, which is 8 inches. I came down by 1.5 inches for the neck depth. You can also make use of 1 inch. So I want to get my shoulder slope. You already know that you need to come down by 1 inch, after which you will connect it to the neck width. I'm also marking the extra 2 inches seam allowance. You know we had that too on the front panel. That part which I use my red marker to connect. So you can see it. I just placed it on it to be sure that I was on the right track. You can see everything is accurate. For the neck part, I needed to make little adjustments in which I had to redraw the curve and also redraw the shoulder slope. For the full length, I also marked it out. The table was quite small, so I had to just take it one step at a time. So that's just me drawing the full length line there and now connecting all the points. For the back armhole, you don't need to go in by 1/2 inch. You just create your armhole curve like that. Again, I'm also labeling everything. Lest I forget, the nipple to nipple measurement, you also use the same measurement you use for the front panel, and for me, I use 4 inches, which I am connecting. But the only difference here is that you don't need to come down by 1 inch on the bust line. Again, you take 1/2 inch on both sides on the half length line, then you connect your points to the chest line. So that's just the difference. I'm just opening that up to show that yes, there's actually a zipper allowance there. I also extended that line. It's time to cut out. In order to remove your zip bulge, this is what you're going to do. First of all, you extend your half length line because that's where the fitting of your cloth lies. Then you can just connect all these points like this. Then when you are done doing that, on that half length line, you are going to be coming in by 1/2 inch. Then you also come in by 1/2 inch like that. Then you can as well extend your waistline and your chest line. Then see what I will do. I'm just going to be connecting my chest line to the half length line like that and the half length to the waistline. I will do the same, giving me 2 parallel lines, and I'm just going to cancel that because we don't need that anymore. The next is to cut out. So that part I'm just cutting out is actually the zip bulge. So let me say we are done drafting the basic bodice. Alright guys, it's time to draft the blazer. I attached another pattern paper to my front panel. I gave it about 6 inches allowance on the top side and horizontally about 4 inches there. So that should take care of the lapel and the rest of it. I just extended the shoulder line like that and also drew a vertical line from that point down. Hope it's clear to this point. So the next thing I'll be doing is to come out by 1 inch from that line and that will take care of the button, okay? In which I'll also be drawing another straight line, and that will serve as my button allowance. I also just extended that like that. To determine where I will be fixing my button, I just came up by 1 inch from the half length line. You can decide to go 2 inches upward, or you can even decide to leave the button on that break point. It's totally up to you. So what I did was just to connect that point to the neck width. I actually used pencil there because I may be using this pattern paper for other tutorials. Okay, now going to the back panel, I just folded in the zipper allowance like that. I'll be taking the width of the neck, and that's about 3.5 inches. I'll just be transferring that measurement like that. See the way I place my tape, not straight but parallel to the shoulder slope. So I just marked that 3.5 inches and I extended my line to that point. I also came out by half an inch, which I will also connect like that. Then create another line. So this will serve as my new line. Okay. To determine the width of my lapel, I'll be making use of 3.5 inches. 4 inches will also work very fine, and I also drew that line. It's now time to create the lapel shape. Here you have to be creative. You can determine any design you want. For me, I think I prefer this design. You can as well use a freehand sketch to achieve this, but this was just what I could come up with. So basically, we are done drafting a blazer or a jacket. Just watch how I will do the cutting so you will know where to cut and where not to cut. Okay, it's quite easy, right? For this part, it's totally optional. If you want a curvy shape on that part of your blazer, you can just create one. You see me using pencil because it's actually not compulsory, but if you want that curve shape, you can draft it like that. But I decided to leave mine like that. So this is how that lapel will be resting. I want a shoulder dart on my jacket. It is totally optional. So what I did was just to divide that line by 2 and I connected it to the bust point. The same I did for the back panel. To me, it just adds extra beauty, but again, it's not compulsory. For the zip budge, I won't be cutting it out. But what I will do, I will just fold it in. Doing it this way, I will also be hiding the zip budge. But if you decide to trim it, it's still very, very okay. Here is the final look of the back panel of our blazer. Now it's time to cut out. If you watch carefully, you will notice I only just added 2 inches seam allowance to the horizontal measurement. The other part, I did not add seam allowance. So I will do that when transferring it on my fabric. So did you take note of how I cut out the front bodies? Can you see it? When you are cutting it out, take note of the part you should cut out, alright? So I am done cutting out the front bodies. Can you see it? The beauty is coming out already? Very beautiful. And this is for the back bodies. Kindly stay tuned for my next tutorials on how I did the basic sleeve and also the cutting and the sewing. If you have watched this video to this point and you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Kindly comment, like and share this video. See you all in my next one. Bye.